Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fantasy Files. I'm Spencer, you know me, and for this week's Saturday video, I didn't really have time to do a big production like my usual Saturday videos, so I figured I'd just do a chiller video where I talk about my week, what I've been reading, playing, and watching, and just kind of talk about general life stuff and channel stuff. This is probably going to be different than our usual videos, but I just wanted to kind of hang with you guys and also stay true to our Saturday upload schedule that we've been trying to maintain for the past few weeks. But if you do like this kind of weekly update thing that's a little more chill, a little more relaxed, and not a big production, then let me know and maybe I'll do more of them in the future. And this gives you more opportunities to see Hank back there. So I mentioned that I didn't have the time this week to do a full-on kind of deep dive Saturday video like I usually do. And that's because this week has been really rough, honestly. There's been this huge push at work to get this house done, and we are really close to getting it done, but the people are moving their stuff in, and we're still not finished. We were supposed to be, like, today was the deadline on Friday, and it is not done. And so it's so stressful. It's been so crazy all week. I feel like I've been working super long days, even though it's just been the typical 8 hours. Although today I did work 10 hours. But yeah, that's just been absolutely wild. It's been taking a lot of my kind of mental focus. So that's been a thing. Also, there has just been so much content to keep up with. I feel like it is this never-ending stream of content that we need to put out. And I know that no one is making us do that, but I feel obligated to do it. And when I have a good idea for a video or for a discussion or something, I feel like, oh, we need to get this out. Like with the PlayStation showcase, we did a video on that this week on the second channel, and that was great. But I was like, okay, I need to get this out by the next day in order to, get into the algorithm and stuff. And then I pushed it to 2 days, and sure enough, that video is not doing well. So it's not like it was all for nothing, but still it's pretty disappointing. But I think that I'm going to kind of, after we finish Yellowjackets, which I'll talk about in a bit. Yellowjackets is a show that we are discussing on the second channel as we watch it. In the finale, I think it actually came out tonight. We'll probably watch it on Sunday, maybe. But yeah, after that show finishes up, it'll be really nice, because then that'll kind of be the end of that content for a while. And I think that, I don't know, I may just upload much smaller videos to the second channel, because it has been so much work doing a full-length podcast episode for this channel, and then a shorter Saturday video, and also a almost full-length episode going out on the second channel. Those videos are usually about half as long as our normal podcast, but still, it's a lot of work. It takes several days to fully edit one of those podcast episodes. And so I'll be really happy when that kind of comes to a close. And, if we see another show that we really, really want to watch, then we'll do it. But I think we're gonna choose those shows more carefully and not just jump into a show because we feel like we need content over there. But this week has also been a little disappointing with Memorial Weekend coming up this weekend. Gabe was going to come out and visit me. I used to live in Seattle, then I moved to another state, and Gabe was going to come out and hang for the whole weekend and go back on Monday. And just due to weird planning stuff, it just didn't work out. And so that's been kind of a bummer. I've been dealing with that the past couple days because it's been so long in the making. Ever since I moved out here, I was like, we gotta get you out here for a weekend, and we were both on board for it. And when something like that doesn't work out, it just really, really kind of sucks, you know? So, on to a lighter and happier subject. Our third co host, Chris, is helping me build a PC right now. And I'm so excited because I have this laptop, which has been great. I love the laptop, it's done everything that I need it to do. But I'm so excited to have a PC. The only other thing I have to play games on is a base PS4, just the basic. It might have been like the second generation, like the second model of the PS4, but still, it is ancient. I've had this thing for 7 years, I think. I think that's how long I've had it. And it's been great. It has not given me any problems up until very recently, up until maybe 4 or 5 months ago. It played every single game with I never had any major hitches with it, and it's been fantastic. But I am so excited to have a PC, you guys. I am so excited. Chris is helping me build it, and I'm learning so much about what each part does and how they go together and what the price ranges for good parts are and what I can expect out of a certain price range. And I think with the money that I'm putting into it, I think I will have a really, really good PC. Probably one of the better ones that you can get nowadays. It should be able to play pretty much any game, and it should be able to play them at like the highest graphics settings. So I'll say it again. I'm super excited for this. I cannot wait. We should be talking this weekend to kind of go over the final parts list that I need to order. And I'm building it myself. I'm going to order all the parts and then kind of watch some YouTube videos and have Chris on a Zoom call and kind of figure it out with him and put it all together. So couldn't be more excited for that. It couldn't get here soon enough. I'm ready to order everything, and I just can't wait to be able to play some of these games that I've wanted to play for so long on the highest graphics settings. And speaking of Chris, we're also going to Blink 182 in June. This is so exciting. We bought tickets, I think, a week ago, and it's this thing. If you're not aware, Blink 182, they lost their lead singer. I want to say it was a long time ago. I think it was at least a decade ago. Let me look this up. Okay, so I was wrong. So Tom DeLonge left the band in 2015, and it really seemed like they were never going to get back together. He went on to other musical projects like Angels and Airwaves, and then Mark Hoppus took over as the main singer. And I went to a concert with Blink 182 with Mark Hoppus as the singer, and it was fantastic. I really liked it, and I think that he did a very good job kind of embodying what Tom was in the band, and it was great. It was easily one of the best concerts I've been to. But Mark Hoppus got cancer, and so Tom got a hold of him and said, "Hey, why don't I come back and we're just going to play together for as long as we possibly can, until the cancer gets really bad, or, whatever happens." But he was like, "I don't feel good, not being a part of the band while this big kind of this big scary life thing is going on. Like, let's do this again." So now they're on a reunion tour, and it just started, I want to say a month or two ago. I'm bad with time, I don't know, but I think that's kind of the timeline. And they'll be in Seattle in June, and so I got a hold of Chris. Chris is the one that got me into Blink 182. Chris and I have been lifelong friends, and for as long as I can remember, he was always into the like pop punk, alternative rock kind of stuff. and Blink-182 is one of his favorite bands. It quickly became probably my favorite band ever. And so it's just surreal. It's going to be crazy to be able to see Tom on stage, because I've never been to a concert that had Tom in it. For a long time, I just never really went to concerts until I got much older. And so it'll be cool to get to experience that, because I never have. So it's a big event. It's possibly a once in a lifetime kind of event. And the tickets were not cheap. They were super, super expensive. And on top of that, I have to pay for airfare to get over there, over to Seattle. But it'll be worth it. Like I said, once in a lifetime event, possibly. And I would hate to not go and then find out later that, this is the last run. They're never doing kind of a reunion tour again, or God forbid Mark dies or his cancer gets way worse or whatever. And so I think it's really, really worth it to go to this thing, and I'm happy to do it. Super excited for it. And it'll just be great to hang out with Chris and experience that with him, because I've never been to a concert with Chris as far as I can remember, or maybe I have. Maybe we went to one when we were living in Colorado. But yeah, I'm just excited to spend more time with him. I hardly ever get to see Chris since I moved out of state. And even before that, it's like, we're both adults with full-time jobs and stuff. It's hard to get together. But I'm really excited to be able to kind of spend a whole day doing this event with him. Also, if you guys have any advice for building a PC, let me know. Definitely, I can use all of the advice that I can get. If you have any advice for what parts, like if water cooling a PC isn't the best idea, then definitely let me know down in the comments, or reach out to us on Twitter or Discord or something. All right, so let's talk about Patreon a little bit. We started a Patreon 4 weeks ago, something like that. And there really isn't a whole lot of content over there yet. I'm super appreciative of everyone who has backed us as a patron, and I'm sorry that there's not really much over there yet. This weekend, like I said, it's Memorial Day weekend, so I have 3 days to just work on stuff for the channel. I'm going to make downloadable bookmarks. I'm going to try to get a couple people together to make some exclusive content for Patreon. I keep wanting to say patron. So I'm going to try to make some exclusive content for you guys over there. But yeah, if you'd like to back us over there, we're trying to get it off the ground, but we are dedicated to bringing more stuff to it. And if there's something that you guys would like to see on Patreon, some exclusive stuff that we don't put on our main channel, then definitely let me know, because I'm not really sure what kind of content to put over there yet. What I'm thinking is I want to do this thing called Fantasy Files After Dark. And it's all the co-hosts, or as many of the co-hosts as we can get in one Zoom call, and just off the rails talking about whatever, kind of like this. just where we like talk about our weeks, or talk about funny things, or video games, or TV shows, or whatever. Just kind of like our Creators Corner episodes, but just with all the co-hosts, because most of us know each other in real life. So, anytime we get together and just go off the rails, it's always a good time. But I'm thinking about putting the first episode of that up on YouTube, and then so that everybody can kind of see what it is and kind of decide if it's something they want to buy into, and then put the rest of them on Patreon for all of our members over there. So that's kind of my big idea for content over there. I'm not really sure what else I can do other than, maybe I start putting these weekly things up on Patreon if people really like them. But yeah, back us over there if you want to support the channel. I don't really know what else to say. It helps us pay for like microphones, and we want to get Gabe and Mick a green screen. We want to get Mick a new microphone. And it also helps pay for, Adobe Premiere costs money every month. Zoom costs money every month. Upbeat, which is our service we use for music that we put in these videos. That costs money every month, and there's a couple other places that we use that just bill monthly. So all of that costs money. It's been getting pretty expensive to run this show, and it would be nice to kind of find a way to get some income coming in. We're not trying to make a big profit or anything. We're just trying to pay the bills to keep the lights on, essentially. I forgot I had wine over here. All right, well, do you guys want to talk video games? I've been playing some Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I love that game. For the longest time, I said I'm not going to play Odyssey, I'm not going to play Origins, and I'm not going to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And that was because I'm like, this just isn't Assassin's Creed. This is not what I liked about Assassin's Creed. I don't like this big... I liked the open world, but I was like, I don't like all these RPG elements. And Gabe actually convinced me to pick up Odyssey. I saw him playing it on his computer and kind of watched him for a bit. And I'm like, man, this actually looks kind of cool. Like, even if it's, not the Assassin's Creed that I remember, which I really think that they should have made that game without the Assassin's Creed title. Like, it literally had to be a game that was originally something else, and they just put Assassin's Creed, the title, on it, because it has almost nothing to do with Assassin's Creed, but it is a fantastic game. It's literally a masterpiece, in my opinion. It's beyond a 10 out of 10. I think it's so good. The combat is so fun, and the story is great. So yeah, I jumped back into that because I never finished the last DLC. I think it's called Legacy of something, but I did the one DLC, and then I got into the second one and set it down because by that point I had put like 90 hours into this game. I'm like, okay, I need a break. Like, no matter how much I love a game, I cannot play it for 90 hours. So I took a break from that, went on to other games, and now I'm back, and I'm just like, God, I love this game so much. It's so good. But I'm super excited for Assassin's Creed Mirage, which actually we got some gameplay for at the PlayStation Showcase. Gabe and I did a video recently, this last week, where we watched the showcase. We had it on the screen in Zoom, and we just watched it, hung out, and kind of reacted to a lot of the games. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Assassin's Creed Mirage, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2. There was a couple other ones like Fantasy... God, what am I trying to say? Final Fantasy 16 was there, and just a lot of cool stuff. At the time when we recorded, I was like, this is awesome, and I was so hyped on it. But now that I'm a couple days removed from that showcase in particular, I'm kind of like, it wasn't very good. Like, they essentially, there was an intro from Jim Ryan, and then basically it was just video game trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer, with little bits of gameplay in between. There was no commentary over it or in between or anything. It was just basically commercial after commercial after commercial. And some of those games could have really benefited from telling us what the hell they were. Like, there was some games that were just a teaser trailer. It's like, okay, is this a first-person shooter? Is this an RPG? What is this? There's no way to tell from what they showed. And I wish there had just been a little bit more information. It was something that I didn't even realize was missing until after the showcase. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, they didn't like tell us anything. It was really weird. But yeah, then we got a big gameplay segment from Spider-Man 2, and I'm excited for it because I love the first Spider-Man game and the Miles Morales game. But it does largely look like more Spider-Man. There's a couple new things just in the way that Peter Parker now has the symbiote, so he's got the like the venom kind of tentacles and stuff. And Miles looks like he has a couple new things, and it looks like you'll be switching back and forth between them. From what I heard, it's not co-op, but you can switch between the two characters, and I'm excited for it. But I'm like, all of this, all the way that you play as Spider-Man and the way that you play as Miles is almost the exact same from the last game. I would say even the combat, like the way they move and like the combos that they use look almost identical to the last game, and I was really hoping that we would get some new combat stuff, and maybe we will. I mean, I just saw a segment of gameplay, so what do I know? But that was I was hoping for like a big step up, and it will be a big step up visually. But I think that besides that, not much else has changed. Although, of course, we'll be getting new story. We'll get the new kind of Spider-Man Venom kind of gameplay, I guess. But everything else looks largely the same. What I'm really excited for is Alan Wake 2, because Alan Wake is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love that game. And I have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for an Alan Wake 2. And I'm so happy that we're getting a new one. I do have a quibble with it, and I know you could probably see that coming. There is another character, this cop, that you play as in Alan Wake 2, and it looks like maybe it kind of jumps between the cop and Alan Wake. And I'm just like, why? I don't like, why would you play as someone else in an Alan Wake game? The game is named Alan Wake. Why would you ruin that with any other character that you play? Oh man, it grinds my gears so much. But on the other hand, I am super excited to get back into Alan Wake. I think just the graphics, just such a massive graphical improvement from the first game, which the first game came out, I think, on the Xbox 360, so it's not much of a surprise there. But my God, it looks so good. And seeing Alan Wake, the character himself, rendered in that much detail is absolutely wild, and I'm so excited to play this game. All right, let's talk about what I've been reading. I restarted the Shadow Rising, the fourth book in the Wheel of Time series, and that was not intentional. It's been on my list of things to go back to for a long time, and I just haven't really wanted to at all. But there was a day where I ran out of service on my phone, or the network was down or something for a whole day. So I had no way, unless I was within Wi-Fi, which I'm not when I'm at work. I'm out on these job sites. So unless I'm within Wi-Fi, I just have no way to download anything. And so I had to go through my library and see what was already downloaded on my phone. And besides the past couple books that I had already read through and didn't want to reread right now, the Shadow Rising was the only other one that was still downloaded to my phone. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And I restarted it, and I haven't finished it yet because I had to read something else that I'll talk about in a minute. But I forgot how much I love these books. As much crap as I've given the Shadow Rising, and for good reason, I still kind of feel that way in some ways. Getting to see these characters again and kind of experience this world again, I was like, let's go, man. I'm ready to do it. So now that I've read what I needed to read for the podcast, I think that next week I'm going to go back into the Shadow Rising and finish that up. I think that's what I'm going to do. But what I've been reading for the podcast is Changes, one of the books, that probably one of the most major books in the Dresden Files, if you don't know. And my God, what a fantastic book. Changes is Jim Butcher's masterpiece. It is a perfect book in every way. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about that book. Every time I read it, it goes further up on my favorite Dresden Files books. I don't think anything will ever beat out Proven Guilty for my favorite Dresden Files book, but man, Changes is so good. There's a part in that book right at the end, and I've read this like at least 9 or 10 times. Every time I get to the scene at the end of the book where, I'm not going to spoil anything, but for those who know, the scene at the end where Harry hands off a package to the package to Murphy, my God, that is tear inducing. And I was on the job site today just working construction, and I'm just like tearing up from this super super emotional scene. So I always love a book that does that. I love a book that gives me all the feels and makes me uncomfortable, and I love that feeling. And I love Changes. What an absolutely perfect entry in the Dresden Files series. So I might have mentioned that over on the second channel we are watching Yellowjackets on Showtime and kind of discussing that week by week, and we're doing it 2 episodes at a time. And so we'll watch 2 episodes, hop on Zoom, talk about it, whatnot. And that's been really, really great. I've really enjoyed Yellowjackets. If you haven't seen it, you absolutely need to. It's about it sounds like it would be like a documentary or based on true events. It's not at all. It's about this girls' soccer team that is flying out to a tournament or nationals or something like that, and they get stranded in the Canadian wilderness. From there, they're trying to just survive, and it's like some basic survival stuff at first, but then really spooky things start happening, and it gets really kind of supernatural and just weird stuff that happens. So the girls are all in the age range of like 17 to 18 when they get stranded in the wilderness. But then we get flash forwards to them in the present day, and it's them, in their like 40s or whatever. And there's something weird going on in the present day that kind of links back. And I always love when shows do that, when you get 2 different timelines and they start to kind of sync up, and you're seeing similarities and seeing how the character arcs are kind of the same, how they're really parallel. So I love that show so much. That being said, I will be super excited to finish this season. Yeah, I'm ready to be done doing that content. Although I love the show, I'm just tired of doing the Yellowjackets content, and nobody's really watching it over there. So it doesn't really feel super rewarding, even though that's not really why we do this podcast. Like even if we got no views, we would still do the podcast because it's just a good time for Gabe and I to get together and talk about what we've been doing and what we've been reading. So yeah, but I'm ready for Yellowjackets to be over. But I don't want that to take away from, it is an incredible show. It is really, really good. So go watch Yellowjackets if you haven't seen it. And then lastly, before I go, I want to talk about this idea that I have for our 100th episode. I think we're at the time this goes out, we're at like 75 episodes or something like that. So we have 25 to go, which will be a ways away. I mean, 4 divided into 25. Yeah, that's at least 6 months away. So it'll be a minute before we get there, unless I start putting out 2 episodes a week. Maybe I'll start doing that. But I think I have this great idea for our 100th episode. I want to do a live stream, a 5-hour live stream or more, where Gabe and I are there the entire time, And then we have all of our friends kind of rotating in and out. Like Mick will be there for a little bit before work. Hopefully Chris would hop on for a bit. Hopefully we could get like Holly Tinsley and all the other people that come on our show pretty regularly. Cam, that'd be great. Cam Wolf. Or like Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. It would just be awesome. And the fiction fans, girls, it would be so sick to have all these people kind of rotating in and out during that 5 hours. You know, if somebody can only stay for an hour, that's fine. Just come in, talk about whatever we're talking about at the moment, and then kind of rotate out with someone else, and the next person can come in, and we'll have like, you know, 6 people in the call at all times, or like 5 people in the call at all times. So I think that would be a lot of fun. I think we could come up with a lot of really fun topics and a lot of just really wacky stuff that we could talk about and do, and games we could play. And we'd probably all be just super drunk. I can't imagine that we wouldn't be absolutely wasted for that video or for that live stream. So if you guys think that that's a good idea, let me know. And let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see for the 100th episode. If there's any ideas in particular you have for that. But I think that would be a really good time. I think I really like that idea for the 100th episode for sure. All right, well, I've been talking for a minute now, and so that probably brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for hanging out with me. Feel free to drop us a comment down below or reach out on Twitter or Discord linked below. And if you're interested, check out our Patreon. I'm definitely going to try to bring some more value to our little space over there. As always, subscribing and liking helps us out a ton. We love growing this audience, and subscribing not only helps us get seen by the algorithm, but also gives me an idea of how big our audience is. Again, that's going to wrap us up, guys. So thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you on Tuesday in whatever the next podcast episode is. And then I'll probably see you again next Saturday. All right, bye. And a big shout out to our first Night Angel tier patron, Shad Zaman. Thank you so much, man.